Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to discuss how you get your 4K badge on Apex Legends. This was kind of a nice segue because before I had just started playing Wraith, which I never really did before. I probably have maybe about 300 eliminations, maybe now 400 because I played her a bit on stream and I've been playing her the last couple days. So I guess I went from 200 to 400 just recently, how much I've been playing her again. But she definitely has a lot of survivability, which is a key to getting your 4K badge and making sure you survive into the last encounters to do a lot of damage and output. That's the overall goal. You don't necessarily have to drop hot when going for your 4K badge because this was not a hot drop. There was just one team here, and it took us a little while. This was actually a really slow round to start. And don't worry, I'll highlight on the action. I'm going to highlight as many tips as humanly possible. But you really want to do, you know, Sarah was a really great help during this round as well, is that a good teammate can really help you get a strong amount of damage in and cover for you whenever you need to heal and get back in it. Sometimes eliminating the squad right away lowers your chances at getting higher damage. You have to realize at the start, whenever you drop hot, that everyone only has 150 damage, but as you keep getting towards the end, anybody who has red armor means that it's 250 damage. It's going to net you a lot more damage overall in the encounter. So I figured this would be a really helpful video, especially I always find I get 4K damage more consistently than my 20 bombs, just because I know how to at least dish out quite a bit of damage. And what helps is using a sniper. Snipers are really good for poke damage. In this instance, what really helped dish out a lot of damage was a triple take, and even getting a good sprayer weapon to constantly reset in the encounters. So you're going to see here, I mean, we pretty much own a lot of barometer, and we do get into fights, but the thing is, it's nothing like super crazy and intense. You really want to push on just about everything to get as much damage in and know when to hold and to reposition. And use your abilities. So don't be afraid to get in the encounters, but you know, I mean, it's so easy to say just don't die, don't get eliminated. But with Wraith, at least you have her tactical ability to reposition. And I'll showcase later in the video where that happens and where it really excels at. Stay close to your squad. I know that might seem counterintuitive, but your squad is really going to be what keeps you alive. So even though you're pubbing out and you may be one of the best players in the game, to increase your damage output, just be with your squad. It helps to have another body there, so the person who's fighting against you has to choose between pretty much the two of you. Even if you whiff your shots, I mean, you're not going to land every single shot, so just keep that in mind. So we're pretty much just chasing at this point anywhere that we could possibly go to get as much damage in as possible. This is pretty much how I play every single one of my games. This is why I do a lot more pubs compared to ranked, just because I just want to keep my gunfighting sharp. When it comes to playing ranked, and I will put out a video tomorrow because we talked about this on stream, it's more about your rotation and your positioning more than your, I guess you could say, 1v1s, gun skill, whatever you want to label it as. But we do chase a guy all the way over here, and they are just running. So let's skip ahead when we finally catch them, because again, you know, this you would look at this score right here and say there's no way you're getting a 4K damage out of this, but as teams start to get really sweaty and as your MMR goes up, your probability for getting a 4K damage actually increases, and your probability of getting a 20 bomb decreases. Just because, you know, at the very end, most people are all going to have red armors and take it very seriously, sweat, and you can do poke damage and get as much damage in as humanly possible. So we're chasing. Let's go and skip ahead. Well, actually, she's actually right here. This is actually a nice little track here. Whenever she was in the air, pretty much using the Mastiff, landing pretty much every single shot, and then boom. And then we do get thirded. So it's not a bad thing if you get thirded. Just be sure to reset as fast as possible. Don't spend too much time looting. Every moment that you spend looting is not doing damage or looking for a way to reposition and get the best optimal spot. Because if you're wasting time looting, it means that you're not shooting. So we do hear another team that rolls up on us, which is this team here. And then I'm going to skip ahead afterwards because, well, it took them a second. There you go. They did barrel right in. They had the right idea, but their positioning just wasn't really on point, and they were spread out. You see what I mean? Where you play with your squad, even though you want your 4K and your 20 bob, you got to play with your squad. Even if the person, even if you're playing with randoms, I've gotten my 4K badges consistently with randoms too. Like they may not even be in a squad just because they're there to add pressure, to add decision making. So 20 bombs, maybe it might be best to push up by yourself to get it. And remember, 20 bombs are literally all RNG. Where you drop, you're hoping that other people in the lobby aren't chasing it, but the more people that are watching these videos, then the more you're going to see that they are just as much going for kills as much as you are, and it's only going to get more difficult. I decided to trade out the Mastiff here because I'm looking for poke damage. Really something important to highlight. The R301 is really great at mid-range, and a triple take is pretty much a shotgun and a sniper, so that's why I opt to remove the Mastiff. If you're saying what's going to be the best loadout for getting a 4K badge, it would be something with mid-range. You going up close range with an R99 and another SMG is not ideal. That's why people run Wingman R99. Wingman is like your mid-range, right, in terms of getting some burst damage so you can go in and clean up with the R99. But if you run, let's say, even if you're an R301 and SMG, you do need that burst damage. Burst damage is really, really important to get an opening. So burst damage would be your Wingman, triple take, longbow. You can even consider the Mastiff a nice entry weapon, but at the same time, remember, we're talking range too. So I would look at the Mastiff more as cleanup. And I mean, charge rifle, you know, can be a great, easy way to get 4K damage. And you see it done on Wraith just because she can reposition. We see some people, let's skip ahead. We see the Revenant ult pop and we decide to push on us, but it takes us a minute to get there. I thought the team was here, which is why I'm skipping ahead, but then they're not here. So it took us quite a bit of time just to go find them. So yeah, burst damage. So this team already fought. I was trying to get into the thick of it with Sarah here, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. You see there, that was already a good amount of damage. He does manage to get away, but it means that you should push. Anytime you get that amount of damage, that is pushing. Do not let them breathe. You can let them breathe if you want to farm damage, but remember, you want to keep them on their toes and avoid a third party if at all possible. There are 10 squads remaining, and still, you wouldn't think with 10 squads remaining in duos that this is not possible to get a 4K badge, but it definitely is. So don't ever worry too much about your damage, because now, I mean, I'm only at 800. You would be surprised that I got 4,200, but it really comes at the very end. And you see there's a reposition with a Q, so I don't get eliminated. Sarah's holding it down, and then I can rotate right back in and help out. That's where the power of Wraith really comes in. It's her ability to reset just in case. It's not always necessary. Sometimes it might be a little bit unnecessary to do so. And I wouldn't say that was the best Wraith Q in the world, but I'm just kind of highlighting. There's definitely some that are going to pop up later that I'm going to highlight that are what really got us to clutch out some moments. I believe it was this round. If not, maybe it was one that we did on stream. But nonetheless, it's we keep rotating. We keep rotating. There is nothing that happens around here. You get your damage doesn't add up from. Does it add up from these guys? Let's see if it does. From the prowlers. I just want to see. I don't remember if they do. And there's the damage here. Let's talk about the segue that led up to this moment. So we heard them fighting the prowlers, and there's going to be a massive fight that occurs here. That gets really, really messy. And the damage does, I'm almost positive, doesn't count from the prowlers. But it does count for people that are downed. If somebody is downed and you're looking to get your 4K badge, you might as well farm up the damage because it's an additional 100 damage that counts towards you. So let's say at the start somebody has 150 plus another 100. That does count. Most people don't know that. At the very end, if you do 250 damage to somebody and then you do the additional 100, that's 350 damage. And doing that 3 times, well, that's, you know, a lot of damage that you're looking at there. So there's a good amount of damage here that was done, but unfortunately does not knock him. Sarah throws a great tactical ability because I'm playing close to her. Otherwise, I actually kind of screwed it up. I still get hit by the ultimate, but it is an amazing tactical that she threw out nonetheless, and I'm able to bat. If you're trying to go for your 4K and your 20 bomb, your batteries are going to be your most important way to reset and get back in. If you're just using cells, then it's going to be much harder to get that. Yeah, they don't count the prowlers in terms of damage. But you'll notice that a lot of damage starts to happen when I'm using the triple take here. Again, having something mid-range, Wingman, triple take, G7 Scout from the care package, any rifle, even the 30-30, honestly isn't half bad for getting some of that poke damage early on. It can be really, really nice. Whiffed a bit here. But then I was able to clean up here with the triple take. It's pretty much a shotgun. The triple take is just a little bit overpowered, to say the least. But yes, you want your batteries. And so you can kind of gauge if the game is going to go your way based on the number of batteries you have for 4K or even a 20 bomb. I know this isn't about getting a 20 bomb, but you know, some little extra little tidbits there. If you find yourself low on batteries, then you're not going to necessarily have an easy time to reset, because again, every moment that you're sitting trying to sell up, those cells, those seconds add up really quick, and that battery can get you in and out of an encounter faster than you think. So stock up on them, even if it's way too many just for the memes, just because you can never have enough batteries, to be quite honest. So we're looking at a total of 7 kills, 1,377 damage, so we're going to skip ahead. And you still wouldn't think that, because there's only 7 squads, we pretty much ran into all the remaining ones, and so any team we did see, we pretty much wanted to go in on the encounter. So this team was ISO here at the bottom here, but at least gave us some damage here, even if I'm whiffing pretty poorly here at the start. Most people don't use this tip as well, is use your movement and momentum to heal whenever you're going in. Most always make that mistake. So when you're sliding, slide down and heal when getting into the next encounter. I can't stress that enough. Now, if I was getting shot in the back right here, the first thing I would do is literally Q as a Wraith to get out. I think I do. I almost think we do get shot here. We'll find out what happens again. But they do reset, which gives us that extra bit of damage, and they are getting thirded in the back over there. We do try to push pressure, but play this smart still. Even if you're going for your 20 bomb on your 4K badge, just because you're feeling confident you got a lot of damage under your belt, there's no difference in playing smart versus playing, well, I guess I lack for a better word, dumb? You know, I do it too, where you just kind of blindly push, and that's the thing you don't want to do, is just blindly push. You want to play and know what is the highest probability of you succeeding and surviving. Well, you know, holding your positioning here instead of getting too aggro one way or the other is going to be the best thing. And of course, if you get damage, well, that's going to be your best sure tell sign of, you know, surviving. So that's why we decided to push this team in the back. It's a free kill. I go for the bat and the reset, and I get to chill. See how the batteries really kick in for that time and that reset? It really makes a difference. And here's the port to reposition and go for that Revenant over here. There is a team on the left, which is why I decided to go for the port here. It's not the best port in the world, but it is something just to get across. I didn't want to get shot while I was running across, because you see there's a shot, there's triple takes. If I got triple take running across and the Revenant decided to shoot me, I could come in around half health, and he's got purple, and that wouldn't be, and there it is, shooting me in the back. So you kind of have to anticipate where they're going to give you a hard time. And we're just picking on this guy and just trying to finish him. But it doesn't really work out, and that's perfectly fine. So we do have this angle. We know that this team already left. The zone is over on the right. So now I'm 2k damage in, and there's only 6 squads. Notice how we've pretty much been in every single fight towards the end here. There's not a lot of people alive, but being a part of all that is pretty huge in terms of making sure that you're maximizing your damage. Poke damage, huge. Getting into fights, but knowing when to back out of them. Even bigger for 4K. It hurts your potential on a 20 bomb, but honestly, with this one was 15 kills. That was the difference between maybe just engaging on a different squad or not. But we got in as many as we could. That just meant the start could have been a little bit more effective to land a 20 bomb, and that just comes down to RNG. So there's a team that I was planning on gating out here, and this is definitely a way to kind of farm up the damage, but does lower your probability of getting, you know, the 20 bomb, because what if another team which is fighting right now, I lose out on those kills? I don't get overly aggressive just because I know the Bloodhound, there is a scan on the left, has the angle. This is me playing Watson a lot, where I get really comfortable with playing patiently. And with the zone closing, it being level 3, I don't want to get caught out by the other team and do the same thing I would do to somebody else, or just push. You see the shots across the way, and there they are. Just as we were mentioning, people tend to do very predictable things and just let them make mistakes. You don't let you make the mistakes, let them make the mistakes, so then it makes your life easy. So that team made a long rotation and made the mistake. Yeah, I've already knocked them, but I'm not going to make the mistake of letting another team rotate on us, and that's for us to lose positioning here, so we wait for them. Because 1, I've already done additional like 400 damage since then, which kicks up the damage. And then 2, when I need to rotate, I'll have my port, and we'll have a way to rotate around if needed. Right now, we're just waiting for the team to rotate over. This is also a really smart way to play ranked. I mean, sometimes pubs, to be honest, plays just as aggressive and crazy as ranked does. And there they are. There's the team that we're talking about. They rotate over, there's the free damage, and then there's going to be the cleanup. GG's. Some solid tips and solid advice. So I could wait for the port here. We do something dumb. We even call it in our comms. I remember this. We just go out in the open and start looting. It's not ideal, but I'm playing Wraith, so all I gotta do is Q away and I'll be perfectly fine. We do see one that's flying away. We are in the open, but I could port and get away, which is the beauty of playing Wraith. If I was Watson here, I honestly probably wouldn't go for those boxes. I don't think it would be possible if somebody was looking at us. So 2,600 damage in. There's only 4 squads, so I think there's probably about only 8 people alive remaining. Because I know it was 10 earlier, and I think a team was eliminated, and there's a solo, so there's probably about 8 people, maybe 7, give or take. So we know that there was one individual there, and we're just constantly looking around. We're looking for the fight at this point. You know, having reds, you're going to be pretty confident to get into a fight. Don't have to get too nervous, especially when I knew there's one team on the far left, and we saw one that was flying, and there's one in the far front. So we're just looking for the rat, essentially, so we don't get caught out and shot in the back, but we pretty much take height. It's okay to look for information when getting to these encounters. So there we go. There's the information. There's the one. And I'm going to whiff a lot of these shots, so I could have even had more damage this game, but I kind of whiff. So we know where the teams are at. There's one on the left and there's one on the right, and we know there's a rat running around somewhere. So I misspoke when I said there was a rat. You know, it's why you review these VODs and take a look. So I'm just pretty much egoing and just trading damage. I have the bats, I have the cells. It's kind of like when you're playing comp, it's war of attrition. Pretty much, you're trying to dwindle them down if you have the resources, you know, and putting pressure. If you put pressure, they won't move, you know. And if you miss all your shots, then they're going to play even more aggro and think. It's kind of a mind game. It's like chess, essentially, when you're playing against these players. I mean, if you're told to put pressure and then you lack the pressure, this is going to be a decent shot that comes out of here. Boom. Very nice. Do remember that one. But as we were saying, it's one of those things where it's like mind games. If you are putting in a lot of pressure on the enemy team, then you have to really highlight if they're missing their shots or not. If they're missing, then you have the ability to counteract it. Like this guy. If I was playing competitive, I probably wouldn't have peaked that long, but I was able to sneak in a lot more damage because they're missing their shots. So many times have I said on stream, I was like, oh, that guy's crazy, he's cracked out of his mind. Like, there's a talented player. I'm memeing, but at the same time, that's a lot of truth behind that, because it's very true. You can very much tell if somebody's shooting at you if they know what they're doing. If they land every shot, you're like, I'm not going to fight that. And when they back up, that means that they're letting you pretty much move in for positioning. And if they're letting you move in for positioning, notice how I just got an additional 400 damage here just by going for poke. And just by pretty much fighting and egoing. We're going to rotate over here on the right in just a second. I see the knock, and so the knock on the kill feed. Paying attention to the kill feed is also huge. I remember competitive players have said many times, I wish that the kill feed wasn't even in there. It really can dictate if you make a push or not. And the reason for that is because you have the information if somebody on the enemy team has been downed or finished. And if I know one has been down, that means I have the ability to push up because somebody is in shambles and another team might have taken damage and it's just warrant a push. So 3,500 damage in. I'm confident to make a play. And 99 damage, I look at my health, I can see in the bottom left, I have the upper hand. I had red, they have purple, and when I come around the corner, they're going to be healing. And even then, when you get the bat off, it's a little too late. I go for my own bat, I reset, and I'm ready to fight again. Remember, like I said, batteries are extremely valuable. In competitive, they're even more valuable. When it comes to playing rank, it just keeps escalating in how valuable they are, just in terms of getting maximum damage output. So this is the last squad that we're running into here. So just to kind of wrap up tips, poke damage, know your rotation, check the kill feed to see if you're able to win the encounter, constant pressure, get the knock, go in for it, find yourself a mid-range weapon, long-range weapon, something you kind of do a lot of damage and kind of clean up with, and don't be afraid to push, but push smart. So when I say push smart, make sure that you got some damage in, that you got your positioning and everything. It's like essentially a checklist. Let me know, leave a like if you want me to do like a checklist. I can definitely do one where we kind of highlight what is good in terms of a drop. Because remember, when we go back again and wrap up this video, this was a round that started off very slow. Whenever we started getting a ramp up in damage, I'm going to skip a little further ahead so you can see it. I was only at 900 damage with only 18 people remaining. The remaining 3,000 damage occurred at the second portion of the game. This happens in trios a lot. This can happen as well in terms of your 20 bomb or any rank play. I hope you guys liked this commentary. You guys have responded really well to this type of stuff already. This was my first 4K that I've ever gotten in Wraith because I don't play her a lot. And I figured it would be interesting to see what we did. And I think the other gameplay that I was referencing was what we did on stream. I'm going to post a round that we had on ranked and how to effectively position. I'm going to talk through the decision making on that to kind of help you guys in ranked. I apologize, I haven't been able to do a whole lot of ranked this season, or the past seasons have been busy with a lot of IRL stuff, you know, baby, managing SOAR, and I just trying to get content like this up for you guys. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And well, we put the little end screen here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video.